Good morning. Good morning. So, what are we going to do today? Oh, that's right. We're going to talk about websites. Cindy, good morning. Good morning, Cindy. Gusta. Gusta's wife's birthday is today. He shared with her a bouquet of beautiful flowers. Of course, that makes him very sweet, um, very nice. And of course, um, they were very beautiful. Good morning, Barb. Yeah, north central Minnesota. Is it cold up there yet? It's cold down here. I'm just west of Chicago myself. Oh, gosh. What is it? Our temperature is 39 today. I actually turned the heat on yesterday because the house was at 40. Yeah, kind of determined not to do that too soon, turn the heat on too soon. Oh, look, Gusta, Cindy wishes your wife a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Gusta's wife. What are we going to talk about today? We are going to talk about building a website. Now, first, let me say that in our short 30-minute segment, we are not actually going to physically build a website. Okay, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what we need to think about. Oh, Frank's here. Good morning, Frank. Actually, good afternoon, Frank. It's good to see you. Cindy, she's way down in Texas. Of course, they don't get cold way down in Texas unless they get a freak snowstorm that takes out all their electricity. But so yeah, we're going to talk about what we need to do to build a website. Planning. Yeah, I know. Planning. You got to think about it. You got to think about what you want, and you got to think about how you're going to do it. So before we even go looking for a website host, and please forgive me, I am not a professional website builder, so I probably won't get these terms right, but I'll try. Um, Website host, I'm making that statement for the provider of your site location. Who do we have here? Carla, out of California. Carla, what time is it there? It's got to be like what, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning? Do you have your coffee? I have my coffee. Oh, thank you, Cindy. Yes, this is all prompted 8 a.m. for Carla in California. This whole episode is prompted by the fact that I just went through and rebuilt my website, and it took me forever. Um, I almost gave up a couple of times, but I knew what I wanted. So let's get back to it. Planning. First thing you need to think about is, do you want a informational site or do you want an e-commerce? My site I used to classify as informational because I would direct people there to see samples, picture samples of the work I did. Um, there was a page location that gave you the fee structure that I use. Um, there was a bit of e-commerce on there. There was a store. I have a very small selection of stock designs that can be downloaded, but I wanted more. So that was an informational site. I wanted a true e-commerce site. I wanted, well, I suppose the other site was an e-commerce because you could buy stock designs. But I wanted a website that you could actually order your customized digitizing request because I'm a digitizer. That's what I do. I digitize for people. People have embroiderers have their customers who bring to them a logo, and that logo needs to go on a shirt or a hat, but it needs to be digitized, so they hire me to digitize it. Well, Well, I've had a lot of new clients say, I don't know how to order my request on your website. And that's because you couldn't. So that's what prompted me to start this. So, what did I need to do? And thank you, Cindy. Cindy said that she got instant responses to her order and her quote. And I do. I want to be a hands-on web provider, not web provider. I want to be. Um, I don't want to lose the one-on-one communication between myself and the orders I get. So that's all part of the planning. I'm going to bring up. I'm going to bring up. Oh, Gusta, thank you. Thank you very much. I try. I really do. It's important to me. Um, I'm going to bring up my other screen. You ready? I never get this right. There we are. Nope, that's not the one I want. Is this the one I want? Yes, that's the one I want. Okay, so this is just a simple little drawing I put together in paint. But what it's supposed to represent is the planning stages of your website. You could do it on paper and pen, um, which I'm old school, so that's still a thing for me. Or you could create something. Maybe you've got a software app that does flow chart, creates flow charts. But that's basically what I'm suggesting is you start with a flow chart. And the first thing you want to do is you want to plan your home page. And I'm going to pick up. So what do you want on your home page? Well, you want your navigation screen. That's what this is. These are your navigation, the drop down menus. When somebody clicks on one of these areas, it's going to take them to the next page. Okay. Now I've got 6 boxes here. You may not want 6 boxes. Most websites can handle six tabs at the top of your navigation page. But below the navigation, you're going to have a space. What do you want in that space? And below that is probably another space. Okay. Ultimately, at the very bottom is your footer. And if you look at other websites, you'll see that footer includes links for the contact, about us, location, another navigation, um, your social media, links to your socials is can be found down there. But that's the first thing you want to do. You want to plan out your home page. And of course, way up here, first thing you want everybody to see is who you are. So, your company name and logo. Now, let's see if I can get rid of all of this. No, that's not what I want. Where is it? All right, where are we going? Where's the eraser tool when you want it? Nope. Evidently, I can't erase. It's what I get for using paint. Okay. So we're going to start with a new one. So your first box, what do you want it to be? Maybe you want it to be a blog. And when they go down um, into that location, they will find your blog pages, the information that you're sharing on that location. And maybe in your second link, you want it to go to your store. There's shop now. Okay. So what do you want to have happen at the store? Do you want, what kind of product lines do you have? In my case, I have three distinct product lines. I have digitizing service, I have stock designs, and not that they're loaded yet, but I do have a small selection of embroidered products, um, things that you order to be embroidered for you. So each of these is like a subfolder underneath the store. So now that you've decided what that's going to be, underneath my digitizing, I have listed my digitizing services from digitizing for hats, 1 to 6 colors. As most of you know, my fee structure is based on the color count in your artwork, not the stitch count. But each one of these represents a type of digitizing service. And from there, it goes to the actual product where you can find the description, the uh, uh, sorry, I have a list of questions that I ask for custom digitizing. You can order your quantity, you can upload your artwork, and you can leave notes. And of course, you can order that particular item. And you do the same thing for each one of your navigation tabs. What do you want to have happen with that tab? Where do you want it to go? What do you want it to do? Barb's got a comment here. Let's go back to Barb here for a second. Barb says, if you have created Fabrica, there are website layout information and templates. Really? I had no idea. I did this the hard way. Um, the hard way being, I went looking at different site providers, different places that uh, build websites that whether you're going to do it yourself or you're going to hire somebody to do it, but different places. Uh, there's shop, Shopify. Yeah, Shopify. GoDaddy has a structure that you could use. There's uh, WordPress. There's like dozens of them out there. I needed I needed to find a provider that allowed me to have people upload um, files to me, and not all of them do that. I also needed a provider that would allow downloads, and again, not all of them do that. So you need to do your research to find the location that will host or keep your website for you. Um, and again, depending on your skill set, it needs to be something that you feel you can do for yourself. And like I said earlier, I almost gave up a couple of times. There were some things that I just could not figure out. Um, so I would reach out to the community and say, this is what I need to have happen. Is there somebody out there to do it? Well, I'm not a patient person when it comes to that. So while I was waiting for somebody to answer that question, I was still researching, I was still looking to figure out what I wanted. And ultimately, YouTube to the rescue. Um, I found a video. I found a video channel that helped walk me through a lot of what I was trying to do. The lesson there is don't be afraid to research. Don't be afraid to don't be afraid to go looking for the answers that you need. And at the very end, if you still can't find it, just like with our machines and our equipment, just like with our machines and our equipment, don't be afraid to go to support. Find a host that has good support. We've got a couple of comments here. Let's see, Cindy. I think you have to have your own ideas, and that is what makes your custom website. And you're right. Again, that's with the planning. I know I use like a flow chart type thing where I put all my navigations and then I flowed down into what each tab was going to do until it got to the end. Um, and then I built the next tab. The next tab, it's my website, and I can't remember what the next tab is. I know that there's a tab for videos, and under that are two categories, one for coffee and conversation and one for 1 minute bits. Um, there's a business tab that is basically blog postings. Um, but things, you have to decide what you want to go under each tab and how it flows down. Barb also says, I mapped my website out on a spreadsheet and graph paper as there were specific things I wanted. I did end up using Fiverr to build a quote page and a template page I can modify for monograms. Oh, yeah. There are lots of resources out there. Don't hesitate to reach out to find help, to find how to do what you want to have done. It can be done. What is this, Cindy? Cindy says, I'm on the user side, so having something easy to navigate through will keep me on that site. And thank you, Cindy. I That's very true. Right now we're talking about being the creator or launching our website for whatever we're going to use it for. The one thing we need to keep in mind for all of this is not just how it works for us, but how does it work for the person who we're trying to bring in to our site. One of the things that I've been doing this last week is I have been asking people, thank you for using my website. Tell me, what was your experience with it? Is there anything that I need to change? Anything that needs to be clarified? Anything that makes it easier? Yes, there are a couple of things with my website that I wish were a little different that I don't have structural control over. Um, but overall, I've been getting some pretty positive responses. Now, if you get a response that suggests that it could be better, do something about it. If one person makes a comment that something could be improved, there are five more behind them that haven't said a word. Well, could be 500. But, do something about it. If it's in the best interest of your site, if it's in the best interest of your community, of your clients, your customers, of the people visiting your site, then do something about it. Thank you, Gusta. Gusta suggests to have it clean. Less is more. Yes, less is more. Um, I try to I try to keep it clean. Sometimes I can get a little word or I can try to pack a lot into a space. Um, but Gust is right. People, they'll get lost. They'll get lost. It's like in the embroidery business. If you give a customer the option of 500 different fonts, if you give a customer 500 different fonts, they want to have their name put on the shirt, they're going to spend forever trying to decide which one they want. But if you only give them, I use six different fonts, then that greatly reduces the anxiety that they have of having to make that decision, of having to decide what needs to be done or how, what font it is. Um, and it goes back to your website. If you give them, Frank, you're right. Frank, when it comes to font selections, 4 to 6, I'm right there with you. I give three script, three block. That's what you get. And then I tell them that if what I've got here is not meet what their thoughts are, I direct them to a couple of sites where they can go look for the font they want. Cindy, your best interest to money, your best interest to make money. Yeah, that's ultimately what we're doing here. When you're in business, when you're building your business, when you're going to use your website to expand your reach, to build your business higher, you need to build your site that works for your community, which in turn brings more work to you, which in turn brings more money. Um, Whether that money is to support you and your style of living, support what you do, or just maybe you're saving for your retirement. But yes, you need to know what your goal is for your website. Going back to fonts. Yes, Frank, exactly. You offer them the font choices that you know are going to stitch well. So while we're here, um, are there any questions? Do you guys have any questions or any thoughts on you want to share on things you should consider when building your website or building a website? I know that I talked a lot about my website because that's where my experience is. Um, but do you have a specific question about something you're working on? I know that we talked a lot about the e-commerce work that I put into my site, but I want to stress the advantages of an informational site. Yes, an informational site can still have all of this, all of the different navigations, all of the different tabs, um, but they can be more of, again, informational. They can be more the site that you direct your people to to see what you do, to show them what you can do for them, what things you do. Resizing photos and backgrounds. Okay. Um, but your informational site can talk about who you are and what brought you to the business, what brings you to them, what you can do for them. Barb wants to know how often I update my site. I look at the overall layout at least once a year, but I try to get into my site for to add, whether it be an inventory item or a product item, um, to tweak out descriptions. I try to get in there for at least once a week and at least an hour to try to figure out what I'm, to keep things rolling, keep things fresh. Frank, one of the things that I did, and you can see some of that in my website from the old pictures that I put up there to the new pictures and background, is I hired a photographer. I gave them a bunch of my stitch outs and I said, Here, I want you to take some pictures for me because, again, photography my is not my strength. But I hired a local photographer who was just starting out. Um, You can find those resources at your local colleges and universities. People that are um, diving into this, and usually you get really good work. The fees are usually pretty reasonable, and it gives them an opportunity to put on their resume that they have done uh, specialized pictures for internet websites, however they would word it on their resume. As far as the resizing, as far as the resizing, um, make sure that you have a good quality image. And I use Affinity, which is it's a smaller graphic tool, but it does what I want it to do, and it's easy for me to navigate. Remember, if you are not a graphic artist, find the tools that work for you, that do what you want. Gusta, a story is your best tool. They buy from how they know or have connection. Exactly. Exactly. You are building a relationship with these people, the people that come to your site. You're building a relationship. And your presentation, your part of this relationship, is what they see on your website. So the person who you are needs to be conveyed on your website, and your story and your tools and your images and how you write up your descriptions. Those are all part of who you are. Let's see, Cindy. I know that it's a lot of work on your part. I would think that it would be very important to always have products updated. Nothing like going to a site and finding out the item is no longer available. I agree completely. I agree completely. Um, yeah, I think one of the things that I should probably do is go and update my images for my older product line. But yeah, if something is no longer available, it's got to come off. Um, it it uh, it ties into your dependability and your um, the ongoing relationship. They need to be able to trust that what they're looking for, what you say you can provide, is available. Barb, if you have Photoshop, you can back process your photos to be a certain size with an action. Canva. Oh, the other site has a great selection of photos and backgrounds. Yeah, using stock designs that are available to you, don't hesitate. That's what they're there for. Pam. Oh, Pam, Pam needs help with her Photoshop. How would you like to do a class on Photoshop? It could be very helpful. Pam, we'll see what we can do to get you hooked up with Barb. So that's what I want to say about websites. Now, I know we're getting to the end of our time here. I have something that I want to suggest, and I want I want some feedback. So whether you send me a message or you type a comment now or later, I really really do like doing coffee and conversation. I like presenting, having a subject, talking about it, and I like doing this. But the one thing that I wish is to have you guys sitting around the table with me. Yes, um, I know that you are in spirit and you're here with your comments, but how do you feel about changing our format to be more like a Zoom meeting so that you guys can actually be on screen with me and we can actually have a verbal dialect, a verbal interaction, an exchange of ideas. So, doesn't have to, it's nothing that's going to happen tomorrow, but in fact, in 2 weeks, I have a class I'm going to, so it's not going to happen anytime real soon. And, but it's something I want you guys to think about. I, Pam, I agree. I would love to have you guys sitting here with me with your cup of coffee and we can have a conversation. Now, those that, um, oh, that's an idea. There's, sorry, I lost my train of thought here. I got excited about what Cindy was saying. What is this? There's a picture in your messenger, a West we used on our road shows. Oh, I'll go look for it. Zoom, yes. Gusta's all for it. Cindy's talking about once a month. Actually, I like that idea. We could make, like the first Saturday of the month, Zoom month. And, um, everybody, I'll put out, the invitation. Of course, I have to do a little research, figure out how to use Zoom. Um, but, to bring everybody in. And here's the other thing for those of you that don't want to have your face on camera, that's okay. I believe Zoom has an option to where you can turn your camera off. You can still be part of the verbal communication, but you don't have to show your face. I would love to see your face, but you don't have to. And I say that because it took me almost 2 years to get here myself because I didn't want to show my face. Um, but here I am. All right, so that's what we have. If you have any questions, Pam, I do believe it does have the option. I will start researching it and we'll go from there. I am next week, next Saturday specifically, I will have to be traveling to my class in Cleveland. Um, I'm taking the train. It's a 7 hour train ride. I figure I can handle that. Um, but the train doesn't leave until later. So I will have a coffee and conversation next week. The following week might be a little trickier, but I'll see what I can do. Even if it's something as simple as talking to you guys while I'm on the train coming back. So, let's see. I want to go back to Barb here. Barb, a great way to work with customers, especially customers that are distant. Yes, exactly. And Clara, Zoom, good idea. Let me know if you need help with the setup. We use Zoom at work. I have an industry expert. And thank you, Cindy. Thank you. I'm going to sign off now. You all have a great weekend. Be sure to take, yes, yes, weekend, everybody. Great web motivation. Yeah, Cindy knows from my last train trip, it was extremely cold. All right. But you all you all have a great weekend. Pam, I'll reach out to you too. You all have a great weekend. I'm going to play my goodbye exit. Wasn't that fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now. Bye now.